Alright, The Adventure of the Unbreakable Speckled Band. In a corner of that small dark room, Sholmes and I waited with bated breath. In time, there came from the ventilator a hiss and a soft, almost growl-like sound. Suddenly, Sholmes sprang into action, lashing furiously with his cane at a point in the darkness. "You see, Wilson?" he yelled, his tense voice reverberating through the air. I raised my dark lantern shutter, and the room slowly came to view. Sholmes was staring intently at one particular corner when he started whispering to me. The victim's most perplexing final words, the speckled band. I believe this is the terrible coil to which she referred, Wilson. In front of us was an enormous adder, its fang bared as it threatened to strike. It was truly the most terrible speckled band I had ever seen. "9th January. Oh, skip. No. They were on a ship. In the morning. So let us unravel this mystery. Discover what events lead to this curious murder. Pray, do excuse me." Cabin door was bolted from the inside when the man was killed. No marks to suggest the bolt was tampered with in any way. So this would appear to be a locked room mystery. In his final moments, the victim scrawled a message on the floor. Almost certainly with the ink from this upset bottle. A Russian word. So the victim was a Russian man then. The letters are well-formed, suggesting he was compos mentis at the time. This is the most extraordinary script. And evidently not penned by the same hand as his message. In fact, I deduce it was written by someone of a different nationality. Whoa. Paper seal was placed just prior to the incident by the victim himself, I would venture. What do we hear? Who are you and what do you think you're doing here? Dada, no one should touch the part-time code. Sure, that won't be necessary. You see, in less than 5 seconds from now, I'll reveal the killer to you. Don't be absurd. This is murder, in a cabin locked from the inside. Ah yes, the locked room. But that mystery is paper thin. You don't mean the culprit is in there? Who are you, and where have you come from? I'm a great British consulting detective, the only one in the world. Sherlock Sholmes, I presume. You must have heard of me. Ugh, my head is throbbing. What's going on? Something's not right here. There's trouble in the air. Wait, I can't move. What the? Why am I in handcuffs? So, you wake up now, We had to drag you out of the wardrobe. I do not believe how you could not wake up. You are a true cold-blooded man. You found me then. No, we found you, and now you pay. Criminal. How long are you hiding in that tiny wardrobe, Sorry. Now you have been found. It is time to admit your crimes. Unless you want to find out how cold the ocean is, No, I'll tell you everything. There's only one thing I'd like to know from you. Is that... Why did you do it? Why did you take his life? Mr. Sato? Wait, what did you say? Take his life? Where is he? Where's Kazuma? No, are you serious? No! Ha! You pretend you do not know? You are a wolf in a sheep's belt. You are the killer. Do not try to make excuses. What? Kazuma-sama's body was discovered not long ago. No! Kazuma's dead! No! Frick! Here, in this very cabin. It was bolted shut from the inside. His body? Please, do not try to tell us you were doing this terrible thing in your sleep. Kazuma's dead? But he can't be. And these handcuffs. Surely you don't think I have to know. Why did you take Kazuma-sama's life? Answer me, please. Is this all for one murder case? Is it like the same one as the stakes we made earlier, or is it different? Oh yeah, it's different. So like, it's a continuation of the story, but now there's like a different problem that happened. So we just solved it, the last murderer story, like, 10 minutes ago. And this is the next episode. But yeah, this is different. No. No! My best friend is dead, and people think I killed him. Kazuma. It was just 2 short weeks ago. Are you sure about this? Won't we get in trouble? Did you find it fun being a stowaway? Besides, how else could you come to England with me to study? It was really something else when they brought your luggage in here earlier, though. The way that Russian crewman just tossed your traveling case onto the floor. I thought I was gonna die. Yes, I still can't quite believe that. Really didn't think you'd be able to fit inside my trunk. You must be even less than a man than you look. Hey, honestly, I thought I'd broken every bone in my body. Well, it's about 50 days until we dock in Great Britain. But if you find yourself to my cabin here, I won't expect anyone will discover you. 50 days. Can you imagine just riding a boat for 50 days and like every day you could possibly die, but you're just like crossing the ocean? Ugh, I hope not. I get the feeling those Russians won't be very forgiving of a stowaway. They're a sturdy bunch, that's for sure. What I want to know is, why do we need to keep it a secret from the young lady? From our faithful judicial assistant, Mikotoba, you mean? From your close friend, more to the point. Surely we could confide in her, couldn't we? I don't believe she'd give me away. No, but if she knew what we'd done, that would make her guilty by association. It's best that only you and I know about this. I suppose so. Anyway, it's about time that the steward is supposed to come and clean the cabin. I know it's cramped, but you better get in there, I think. It won't be for long. And anyway, compared to hiding inside my traveling case, it'll be a breeze. Yes, but what if the steward decides to open the wardrobe for some reason? Then I'll be in for it. Stop worrying. I'll tell you what. Why don't you write keep out or something on this piece of paper? What? Then you can stick it over the wardrobe doors once you're inside. I don't know. We've only been at sea for about 15 days. How can this have happened? We were supposed to be going on this adventure to England. Together. We leave you at the next port. Stay quiet until then. Don't make more trouble for yourself. Murderer. No, I'm not a murderer. No, you said before. You said you admit everything about your crimes. No, that's not right. I mean, yes, I did stow away on the ship, but... Murdering my best friend? No one else could have done it. Admit the truth. Susato-san. Please, tell me what happened. I need to know. Very well. But there is something I would like to ask of you, too. Those eyes. She looks like she's ready to destroy me. This nightmare is getting worse by the minute. I suppose all I can do is try to find out what really happened. He really has been killed, hasn't he? Isn't this just a bad dream? And these handcuffs. They think I did it? They think I'm Kazuma's killer? When they found him, the cabin was locked from the inside. What do you mean? There's no access to the cabin via a porthole window, and the bolt on the door can't be operated from the outside. In other words, after the crime, the culprit couldn't have escaped these four walls. What? Or to put it another way, the culprit can only have been somebody inside this cabin. Or do you have some other explanation? This is impossible. How did he die then? What happened exactly? Are you still going to deny the charge? Even despite the circumstances? Please, Sasuto-san, you have to tell me. The cause of death is still undetermined. They don't know how he died? The ship's doctor is examining the body, but of course he has no post-mortem analysis experience. I don't suppose we shall learn more until an expert has been consulted at our next port of call. So presumably that means there are no obvious external signs of injury then. That's true, yes. Can't anyone tell me exactly what happened here in this cabin? I don't understand it. Why would anyone want to kill Kazuma? Presumably that's something you know the answer to better than anyone. Please. Whatever you say. You were here in the cabin after all. Well, yes, I was, but... He would always wake before dawn and do his training first thing in the morning. I was waiting outside his cabin, as I have every day so far on this voyage. But this morning he did not come. I could sense that he wouldn't. Does that mean he was already dead when Susato-san arrived at his cabin door, I wonder? I knocked, but there was no reply. Then I started to become worried, so I went to find a member of the crew. The crewman forced the cabin door open, and then we managed to get inside. There was Kazuma-sama, collapsed on the floor. And the white tape there now shows exactly where it was found, I suppose. I had no idea anything had happened. I must have been asleep in the wardrobe somehow. I wish it wasn't the case, but that's just very hard to believe. This is all very hard to believe for me, too. Trust me. Now I've told you everything that I know. So it's my turn to ask you a question. Yes, alright. My head feels so heavy. It's still throbbing like anything. Why are you even on board this ship, Naruhodo-san? You said something before about being a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, yes. I'm afraid that's true. It's 2 weeks since we left Japan now, and I've been shut up in this cabin the entire time. I had no idea. But how could you have accompanied Kazuma-sama's cabin for so long without him noticing? No! That would have been impossible, obviously. Yes, of course. Kazuma invited me. He wanted us to go to England together. He actually asked you? But why? I'm afraid I don't really know the reason myself. I don't understand. Kazuma, why do you want this? What's the real reason? Why go to such extreme lengths to smuggle me to England with you? It's an idea that's been on my mind ever since the end of that incredible trial. I think I told you then, didn't I? That you ought to become a lawyer yourself. Well, yes, you did say that, but I didn't think you were serious. You have a talent for it. I can assure you of that. I've never really thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, it's something you can decide for yourself. London is at the spearhead of cultural development, the center of the world in many ways. There can't be any harm in seeing such an important place with your own eyes, can there? Well, no, definitely not. But on a personal level, if you were to become a lawyer, then what? Nothing. Forget it. Kazuma-sama is... He was always saying the same thing. That he wanted to change the Japanese legal system. Perhaps he thought he could do that with you. Yes, maybe. But something's still bothering me a little. The look in his eyes then. It was darker than I'd ever seen it before. Susato-san? I'm sorry that we kept it a secret from you. My stowing away on this ship, I mean. If I know Kazuma-sama, I expect that he was trying to protect me, to avoid me becoming guilty by association. That's exactly right, yes. Word perfect, in fact. If you're not the culprit, then tell me. What happened last night here in this cabin? Well, the thing is... I don't really remember. Kazuma brought me something to eat, just like he always did. And then I got myself into that wardrobe over there, just like I always did. After that, I... fell asleep? Well, yes. So deeply that you didn't even stir when Kazuma-sama was killed? Well, yes. I know it sounds unbelievable. Really, I do. But it's the truth. If only I'd woken up, then perhaps I wouldn't be in this predicament. And for some reason, my head's still throbbing like anything. Really? Is something wrong? Oh, no, it's... Please, forget it. Susato-san, you have to believe me. I didn't do it. I really don't want to doubt you. But the trouble is, there's no one else who could have possibly done this. Ugh. So, at least what I'm thinking right now, since he has a headache, he probably was drugged and the food was drugged and it was probably meant for Kazuma, I'm guessing. But then, since Yunosuke was there, he ended up eating the sleeping drug. Kazuma, I don't understand. Why? Why did this have to happen? Ugh, I can't take this. Don't try to go anywhere. You're the perpetrator of this crime. You can't leave. I can't allow that to happen. I'm sorry. But Kazuma was killed right under my nose here, and I didn't do anything to stop it. And now I'm supposed to just sit around, my hands tied, while whoever did this walks free? No, I can't allow that to happen. Well, what do you propose to do then? I'm going to investigate. I'm going to find out exactly what happened here. I'm going to work out who took Kazuma's life, and how and why they did it. So I'm sorry, but you're going to have to excuse me. Hi-ya! Ta-ha-ha-ha. What the... That was a... Susato takedown. Susato... The what? What martial art form is that? I'm going to need you to prove it. Sorry? Prove it? Yes, your innocence. I need evidence. But how am I supposed to... Have you forgotten already? what you achieved just a few weeks ago. You successfully defended yourself in a court of law. Ah, I see. So he's expecting me to present some conclusive evidence. I have to get Susato-san to believe me. I'll show her some evidence right now that proves I'm not guilty of this awful crime. Paper seal. Kazuma would stick this over the doors of the wardrobe for me. It says keep out in Japanese, though I'm not sure the Russian Q can actually read it. Tell me, when I was discovered in the wardrobe before, was this piece of paper stuck over the doors? Oh, yes it was, I remember clearly. I thought so. Kazuma always put it in place whenever I went to sleep in there. Just in case the cabin steward or another crew member decided to look inside. Is that akeru na? I don't remember. The last symbol. So naturally, he did the same last night as well. Ah! Yes, of course! The gentleman who discovered you peeled that sign from the wardrobe doors before he opened them. But if I were truly the culprit, I couldn't have climbed back inside the wardrobe and stuck this on the outside of my doors on my own. Yes, that's quite true. In other words, it's impossible that I killed Kazuma. Well, even if you are sprawled hopelessly on the floor, I can see why Kazuma-sama thought so highly of you. Thank you, Susato-san. Now, do you think perhaps you could help me up? Well, in the light of that evidence, I don't see any reason why I should stop you from investigating in here at least. Thank you. So you finally believe me? I'm sorry. No. What? I'm not sure yet. I can't rule out the possibility that you used some sort of conjuring trick to put the sign back in position. What does she think I am, a magician? For now, I suggest you investigate as thoroughly as possible in here. I'll do the same. Alright, let's get to work, Susato-san. Please don't misunderstand me. I still have my doubts. Oh. I shall be watching you to make sure you do nothing that might disturb the crime scene. I wouldn't want you using your conjuring tricks to destroy evidence, for example. Right. Well, anyway, I should make a start on investigating here. Examine everything I can. Kazuma, I swear, I will avenge your death. Alrighty, our first investigation scene, which is cool. Let's start from this side, I guess. See if there's anything of interest. We're gonna have to look at everything. There's nothing on this table at all. The plate and the cutlery are all over the floor for some reason. Yes, it's strange. Last night when I went to sleep, I'm sure everything was still. No, wait a minute. What is it? That's funny. I can't seem to remember about anything that happened after dinner at all. So then perhaps you are responsible for what happened to Kazuma-sama. No, no, no. Oh dear, that won't do. Oh, what's the matter, Susato-san? Whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so focused, I forget to look around properly. Ah, yes, that's not good. I don't suppose you're as foolish as me in that regard, are you, Naruhodo-san? Ah, using the arrows. I'm sure you're careful to look all around, aren't you? Now, let's investigate all corners of this cabin. Yes, let's do that. I suppose my field of vision has been rather small until now. Okay. Ah, so they have a check mark showing what you checked already, so that's helpful. Seigi. The Japanese word for justice. The brushstrokes are straight and true, just like Kazuma. Yes, his calligraphy always was a reflection of his heart. Yet you, can you really look at those characters without feeling shame, knowing who drew them so thoughtfully? Man, she totally thinks... oh, man. Of course I can. I mean, I'm innocent, so why shouldn't I be able to? Even though you stood away on the ship? Now you're gonna bring that up, are you? I can't win. What's this? That's my dinner from last night, a roast chicken. It was really tasty. Yes, it was very delicious, wasn't it? Oh, sorry. Press on accident? But did you eat on the floor here? I'm not a dog, Susato-san. I ate at the table, of course. Which begs the question of when and how the plate ended up on the floor. But Kazuma-sama didn't like chicken at all, did he? No, that's right. So he didn't touch it. Which meant all the more for me. Oh no! Does that mean poor Kazuma-sama spent his last night on his earth with an empty belly? It's just too horrible. Now I suddenly have a guilty conscience and an achy stomach. That's Kazuma-sama's precious sword. He never went anywhere without it. Yes, he was always saying that a Japanese man's katana is his soul. I believe he had to work very hard to convince the government to allow him to bring it on this trip. I suppose that shows how important it was to him. And now he's gone, but I'm not ready to let his spirit go just yet. Okay, anything else? The knife fell on the floor. I guess we can look at this. Oh, okay, it has to be when it changes, not just a circle thing. So when it lights up. So there's a smear in the thing. What do you think this is? It looks like a broken piece of glassware. Whatever the thing was, it appears to have been broken clean in two. It's very strange. The glass is such a beautiful color. It looks like a cute little netsuke fastener from a kimono outfit. I'm not sure that sounds like Kazuma. He wouldn't have secretly carried a cute little trinket like this around him, would he? And the mark beside it, what is it, I wonder? It has a sort of brick-like hue. Yes, you're right. It's the color of brick, isn't it? Even though I don't see anything of the same color anywhere else in the cabin. Yeah, that's kind of strange. Perhaps the issue with this Russian crewman makes it the scene of the crime. Excuse me. What? I was wondering how it's going. The investigation, I mean. Grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes, but it's not true, I see. Sorry? The criminal asking investigator information about this crime? Very funny. Oh, it wasn't supposed to be a joke. He doesn't appear to be laughing either. He's convinced you're guilty. You might have useful information though, I have to keep trying. So, last night, did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all? Yet, of course not. Now back to corner of room and make silent. I say no more to you. Did I hit a nerve? Just for a minute there, he seemed a little flustered. Okay, maybe we can talk to him later. Let's check the door, I guess. When I went for help and the crewman forced the door open, its bolt had been firmly closed. It's quite a small bolt, and not particularly sturdy, and it just slides across to secure the door shut. But still, with the door bolted, there would be no way to get in or out of the cabin, that's for sure. It's no wonder everyone suspects me. When she glares at me like that, I feel tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel, the culprit used a needle and thread to draw a bolt across from the outside the room in a situation like this. Yes, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself. The door of this cabin and frame are made of metal, and they seal together perfectly. There'd be no possibility of using that needle and thread trick here, I'm afraid. Glare. When she glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles all up and down my spine. These are the rules of passage for the travel aboard the SS Buria. Buria. It's essentially a list of requests from the cabin to all passengers on board. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. What? Why are you staring at me? Oh, sorry, I was just thinking. Are you more of a dangerous object or a pet? I can't decide. Well, one thing's for sure. Either way, I wasn't supposed to be in here. The books have fallen over on the shelf. Look. They're all toppled the same way. And what's this? A statue of some god of the sea? Although he's fallen over as well. Yes, it's almost the whole shelf has been ransacked, and everything mown down at once. I wonder if... perhaps it was Kazuma-sama doing his morning sword training, do you think? I seriously doubt it. Then perhaps... it was you, Naruhodo-san? In a fit of rage. I wouldn't have bothered leaving the wardrobe just to mess up a few books and a statue. The way these things have been thrown about have anything to do with the case, I wonder. Maybe a struggle? Well, I'll just set everything straight again. I don't like to see a mess. No, don't do it. Okay, well, I guess you did it. You ruined the crime scene, lady. Nothing of note on the ceiling, I guess. And this is all stuff we looked at. That's a very large traveling case, isn't it? Yes, it carries a lot of memories for me. Memories? What do you mean? Well, that's actually how I stowed away on this vessel. I was brought on board inside that case. Ah, yes, I see it says this way up. In Japanese. Which in hindsight, I should have realized the foreign crewman wouldn't be able to read. I was turned over and over and over, and then I was tossed on the floor here. Oh dear. Being a stowaway isn't as romantic as it sounds. Well, it was less painful than a successful takedown. Oh, I can't click on this one. If I... let me look at this first. This is where dear Kazuma-sama would have sat whenever he was writing. London Diary. Poor Kazuma. He didn't even make it to his destination. It looks as though the last entry is incomplete. So he was disturbed while he was writing, right? Which means, what? He was in the middle of writing it when the incident happened? Let's see what it says. It could be a valuable clue. Hi-ya! That's out of the question. What? Kazuma-sama may have departed from this world, but you must not read his private thoughts. But what if it's something important? Something relevant to the case? Alright, I won't read it. Poor Kazuma-sama. I don't like prying into people's personal matters either. But in this case, isn't the need for clues more important? Okay, let's see. So we can't click on this. I'm gonna pick this last, because obviously that's the most important. Let's see what else is around here. Table, chair. This vent. Somebody could have called through that and came in here, I guess. I think that's some kind of opening for a ventilator. A hole through which fresh air can circulate into the cabin. Isn't that a little odd? What do you mean? Well, this ventilator, that's what it is. Looks like it must connect to the next door cabin. Yes, it would appear to. You're right. But if its purpose is allowed fresh air into the room, surely it would be connected to the outside. That's true. Perhaps it's so that rain and spray don't find their way in when the seas are rough, or something like that? I suppose. Maybe that's it. This is... yes, it's a bell cord contraption, I think. What do you mean, contraption? Oh, you pull on it, I guess? I was reading about it in a book I was studying that talked about life in Great Britain. Large households often have a bell cord like this, which you can pull on the string to ring a bell to summon servants. Really? That sounds almost magical. Shall we give it a little try? Yes! In the interest of cultural research, obviously. Oh. I suppose nobody comes for lowly Japanese people. No, I'm sure it's just that everyone's busy, that's all. Wow. Okay, let's check this thing. It's some 2 weeks since we set sail from Japan. Have you really been living in that wardrobe the entire time, Naruhodo-san? I think living isn't quite the right description. Oh, no, I suppose not. Although it must have been rather exciting, making this voyage in your own secret hideout. The trouble was, I never knew when a member of the crew might come in. So yes, I did basically have to live in the wardrobe. And last night was no exception. Because of that, you had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin. No, sadly not. Okay. Let's look at this. Did Kazuma write that before he died? It looks like it's written in ink. He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. And I suppose he wrote this message by dipping his finger in the spillage. Poor Kazuma-sama. No doubt he was in terrible pain. It's almost unbearable to imagine it. I suppose he was trying to leave some kind of clue in his final moments. Was he? I'm sorry, partner, but I can't read your writing. So it's in Russian, so... I don't think that's Japanese, Naruhodo-san. What? Then what language is it? It pains me to admit it, but I don't know. It's not a foreign script I'm familiar with. What does it mean, I wonder? Oh my gosh, you teleported? Who's that? He wasn't there a minute ago. As far as I can tell, it looks like he might be European. Oh. How did he... You noticed the man too, have you? I have no idea who he is or how he got in here, but he looks suspicious. And tall. Suspiciously tall. Naruhodo-san, don't tell me. Do you really not know who that is? Well, no. I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. He doesn't look like a member of the crew. There's something very unusual about him. And he is investigating Kazuma's desk, or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. Well, in that case, we simply must talk with him. Am I just imagining it, or does Susato-san almost look uncontrollably excited? By the way, I expect that you've noticed already, but just in case. If you press A on people when they're in the crosshairs, you can converse with them. Alright then, I'll get that suspiciously tall gentleman in my sights, and we'll see what he has to say for himself. Oh, please do. Okay. Alright, so we checked everything, I guess? Let's, go this way and see... We can't talk to Susato-san anymore. Alright, we'll just talk to, our suspiciously tall friend here. Excuse me. Excuse me. Do you have a moment? Shh. This is a critical point in my investigation. Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. Greetings. I hope I haven't kept you long. What exactly are you doing on Kazuma's desk just now? Oh, I see. Fascinating. Sorry? What do you see? It feels like he's looking right through me. Oh yes, everything is clear now. The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry? What? And now, whilst venturing toward foreign climes, you find yourself in the most troubling predicament. Oh, well, that's true at least. But how? How the deuce did I know that, perhaps? It was really a most elementary deduction, hardly worth explaining. Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else? But of course, a great many things. There is no mystery, my dear madam. For example, you have fled your native land of Russia, being as you are a merciless revolutionary. You leave 16 victims of assassination in your wake, and now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. And when the bare-ribboned occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too. Yes, I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now. Nothing deceives these eyes. Just to be clear, you're talking about me, are you? Certainly I am. Do you see another in this cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name. I don't even see one person who fits the bill. So it's true. It was you who did this to Kazuma-sama. What? And you're plotting a revolution too! It's shameful behavior, Naruhodo-san. Absolutely wicked! No. Listen, there's no way I... Hiya! Now explain yourself. Tell me everything! This is ridiculous. How could you do it? For pity's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary. Obviously. Oh. Forgive me. And as for you, what kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came to your head. Ah, but was I not right? Whilst venturing toward foreign times, do you find yourself in a most troubling predicament, do you not? Well, yes, maybe. Ha! There you have it, you see. What do you make of that, Well, to be honest, the ship is en route to England. I'm in handcuffs at the scene of a murder. So, I'm not really sure what you could call it deduction. It's more plain observation. Indeed. An observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My methods is founded upon the observation of trifles. You see? I announce my findings with a brassy certitude. And more often than not, I'm right. Ha. I don't think you introduced yourself. Ah, my apologies. How remiss of me. I am none other than the greatest detective of the century, known to men and women the world over. The imitable Sherlock Holmes. So, it's really you? The actual Sherlock Holmes? The very same. The imitable, actual Sherlock Holmes. Do you know this man, Susato-san? The most famous detective in the world? Naruhodo-san, of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him. What planet have I been living on then? We must ask him what he's deduced. He will have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure. Really? Why do I feel uneasy about this? Alright, let's talk to this guy. Greek detective. So, you're a Greek detective, are you? Sorry, what was your name again? Indeed, I am none other than the one and only Sherlock Holmes. Oh, I see. You're German? Sherlock, was it? No, I have no hair. I mean, I have hair, but please call me Holmes. You can read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication. Oh yes, Rand's magazine, full of wonderful short stories and interest articles from Great Britain. I never miss an issue. It's sent from England especially. Ah yes, here it is. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. So, you're the protagonist in a series of short stories. You're a protagonist in the series of short stories then? Indeed I am. And you've read so many of your own stories, you start to think you really are a detective. Is he supposed to be a Walmart Sherlock Holmes? Hahaha. Well, the thing is, like, I think part of the... So, Sherlock Holmes is copyrighted, so you can't use that name. So that's why they have to switch out around the letters. But the funny thing is, like, this is just a guess, but there's actually a parody art that was already created with Sherlock Holmes. And I think until that that copyright ran out, they couldn't release this game in America because of that copyright. So yeah, part of it is that, like, they can't use the Sherlock Holmes name officially unless they pay for it. So, or unless they get permission and they pay for it. But yeah. Make no mistake, I'm not the poor, deluded fellow you take me for. Your inference is backward. Backward? My trusty biographer records my greatest detecting achievements and chronicles them in the magazine. You have a biographer, do you? Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson, presently keeping shop in London. Dr. Wilson? I must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy of late. Why, this very moment, I'm returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of a cursed royal crown. Really? I can't work out whether I should take this man seriously or not. Deduction, you see, is to me a science. Logical reasoning in its purest form. A science? Really? The astute observer notices even the most subtle of reactions in his subject. A furtive glance, a twitch of a muscle, a slight inclination of the posture. Fingernails, arm sleeves, furrows in the skin. All these things are data. Right. And the trained logician makes deductions from this data in a blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, the truth. As I demonstrated only a few short moments ago. How can he look me in the eye and claim that? So you see, I have a turn for both observation and for deduction, and fame. That is what makes me the one and only Sherlock Holmes. Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet? Have I managed to deduce anything, my dear fellow? Who do you suppose discovered the culprit in his most cunning hiding place? That's right. It was none other than the great detective before you now, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. Ah, I see. In other words, I'm in these now because of him. When I became anxious about Kazuma-sama this morning, I summoned all the crew members to force the cabin door open. And I concealed myself among their number, gaining entry to the scene of the crime. Yes, luckily for everyone, the great detective Sherlock Holmes was on board. And the handcuff seems to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruhodo. Ah. The very moment I laid eyes on the scene, the two facts were immediately apparent to me. Oh really? 2 facts, you say? Mr. Sholmes, tell us, please. What 2 facts were apparent to you when you came into this cabin this morning? Ah, yes. But first, let us be precise. The 2 facts in question were immediately apparent to me. Yes, I understand. But what were they? Allow me to elucidate. The 2 facts that I deduced from a mere momentary glance at the scene of the crime were as follows. Number 1. The cabin was locked from within, rendering escape of the culprit out of the question. Number 2. The victim was a Russian and killed following a dispute with an acquaintance. Hold on, Mr. Sholmes. What made you think the victim was Russian? Observe the dying message left by the victim on the floor. That is the Russian word for wardrobe. Do you really think Kazuma-sama could have left a dying message in Russian? In the final moments, many find their native tongue filling their head with this young man, Russian. Kazuma was Russian, was he? Nah, dude. Initially, I considered Garderobe, maybe the name of the killer. A certain Robert Gard, perhaps. But in the interest of thoroughness, I decided it would be wrong not to look inside the wardrobe there at least. Where you found Mr. Naruhodo sleeping soundly. Or where you found Mr. Naruhodo sleeping soundly. Quite so, I found you. The renowned Russian revolutionary killer. Why is it that I'm Russian too? I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. And if my memory serves, that outfit is the traditional dress of the Russian people. Our school uniforms are the traditional dress of the Russian people? I had no idea. And I had no idea a detective could get something so wrong. I took a photograph of the victim and the message, that I might analyze it for possible hidden details. This was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed. Yes, Kazuma had already been taken away when I woke up. This is the first time I've actually seen him like this. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes. Thank you. Crime scene photograph. The Russian word for wardrobe in purple ink. It would appear to have been written in the victim's final moments. Can I ask you something, Mr. Sholmes? What, pray? You mentioned Russia before as well, didn't you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia and all that? Ah, yes. The train of reasoning that led me to the truth. Would you mind explaining that train of reasoning to me, do you think? Certainly, if it interests you. How many times? I'm not Russian and I don't speak Russian. Can we talk about your deduction before? The things you concluded about me, I mean? Ah, the now famously accurate, troubling predicament you find yourself in? Actually, it was the other details I was more hoping to discuss. You know, the merciless Russian revolutionary and the assassin of the 16 part? Ah, yes, the more sordid details. It was fairly commonplace deduction. Here we have this morning's paper. The main headline reads... Whoa. Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. This vessel made a port call at Shanghai yesterday, and last night the young Russian was murdered. Since when was Kazuma Russian? It sounds like Mr. Sholmes has concluded he was Russian because of what Kazuma-sama wrote on the floor. It was a simple act of reasoning to realize that the culprit of this crime was the same merciless revolutionary. One who would kill the very man who helped him to escape after his true identity was discovered. Yes, you. Villain Bolshevik. No, no, no. How can it be me? I don't look anything like this man. Just look at his face. Well, you are a fearsome revolutionary after all. Therefore, you have no doubt learned to revolutionize your appearance as well. Please. And I might add, your name does not appear on the ship's passenger list. Need I say more? Well, that's because I'm a stowaway. What about the other details? The 16 victims of assassination and blowing up the Crystal Tower. Ah yes, the journalist clearly interviewed the man and printed all those particulars in the article. The deeds the man has perpetrated thus far, and those he is plotting. Yes, everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There can be no mistake. Do revolutionaries usually agree to interviews with newspaper reporters, I wonder? What about the part that you said I was just returning from Afghanistan? Also quite clearly stated here in the article. Bolshevik is recently returned after a period of subversive activities in a war-torn region of Afghanistan. Where even is it anyway? This is Afghanistan place. Here, take this paper for yourself, as a little memento of this great deduction. Oh, thank you. I've absorbed all that is of interest to me within its pages, but I see no rubbish bin nearby. Article about revolutionary. An article on the front page of a Russian newspaper. The headline reads, Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. And you may find the article on the back page of interest as well. On the back? Cast your eye over it sometime if the interest takes you, though you may need someone to interpret. It's all written in Russian. I couldn't hope to read it. But I suppose it wouldn't hurt just to glance at the article. Maybe there might be a picture or two. Oh, I accidentally pressed B. My bad. Before we started talking, you were examining Kazuma's desk, weren't you? Kazuma? Ah, yes, the victim. Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all? Observe for a moment the desktop of the victim. We see that the victim was engaged in penning some text. London Diary. Kazuma was keeping notes of the trip. Ah, but... Pan, hello! You can, listen to me do a probably terrible British accent. I don't think you should read his private writings. It could upset people. I'm good. I'm having a lot of fun with this game, and we just started the second, oh, shoot. I just started the second episode. We're talking to this Herlock Sholmes guy. Tragic. And something you ought to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading. You mean you've read it already? It is my business to know what other people do not. Yes, believe it or not, I know a smattering of Japanese. Oh, I see. Well, you're about to know what a Susanoo takedown is. Yeah, so what's happening right now is that, we woke up, like, after, like, sleeping super hard. We were probably drugged, but then our friend was dead in the, cabin. And supposedly, we were the only two in this room. So everyone thinks I killed him, but we gotta figure out who actually killed him. So is that the sound? Aren't you gonna throw the detective with one of your trademark takedowns? I'm sorry, Nadahood-san. What on earth do you mean? Life is so unfair. Anyway, to return to the matter at hand, namely this diary belonging to the victim. It would appear that the final sentence is incomplete, as if the author were cut short. Tell me, what is the nature of the writing? Please, pray be precise as to the details. Yes, you can laugh at me as much as you want. I'm having a lot of fun. Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese? A smattering, dear boy. A smattering. Sayonara, bonsai, mikado, nado. I trust you're suitably impressed. Ha. But this diary is littered with complicated-looking characters, of which I can read precisely none. Ah ha 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 ha! So what was that? What was all that showing off about before then? If you'd be so kind as to show me, I would be happy to read it to you, Mr. Sholmes. I'm much obliged, my dear madam. The final entry here in Kazuma's diary consists of 2 short sentences. The first reads, 1:23 a.m. I hear a faint whistling sound. A whistling sound? These are very deep waters. Pray, go on. The second sentence reads, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? What on earth does that mean? I have no idea. I've never heard that expression before. A ventilator grill, you say? The man was presumably referring to the lattice there on the wall, which connects to the adjoining cabin. Yes, the adjoining cabin. Kazuma's diary. A diary Kazuma was keeping of his trip to London. According to the last entry he made before his death, he spied what appeared to be a speckled band. How long is one case usually? It depends. I mean, yeah. This is probably going to be really long. So, like, typically for games like this, when I read out loud, it's going to take, like, twice as long as it normally is. So the first one, usually is, like, the beginner, like, tutorial case, pretty much. So that one took, let's see, I played for 3 hours yesterday, and then we did it for, like, 2 hours today. So that took, like, 5 hours, right? So if I'm guessing that, like, these regular cases, they're going to take at least, like 10, 12, 15 hours. But yeah. I mean, we still been in the same room the whole time, so yeah. It's a lot of reading, So, I believe I've given you enough to consider the time being, at least. Ah, do you have somewhere to go? As it happens, the victim's writing in his diary have piqued my interest. The matter warrants further investigation, I believe, and if I am still too long, the seasickness takes hold. Oh, I suppose. You're thinking of investigating the cabin next door, which the ventilator connects to? Great detectives are a curious breed. Our minds rebel at stagnation. We crave mental exaltation. So yes, I intend to investigate. Hence the truth will become clear soon enough. Do you think perhaps that we could go with you? No. That would be somewhat complicated. What? But why? A simple glance at your wrist should reveal the answer. Oh, please. After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter. No? There's no point in trying to turn it into a question. You're the one who decided I was a culprit in the first place. Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as a culprit at any point. You must be joking. You just said it only a moment ago. Dear me, you are clearly misguided. I would have no cause to say such a thing. Well, actually, Mr. Sholmes, I did hear you say that too. I'm quite sure. Well, that's very strange. I wouldn't have said you had the face of a criminal, you know? Not really. So what? You were just looking at my knees before? Some great detective you are. Well, anyway, that was then and this is now. What do you mean? What I mean, sir, is this. If you are the culprit, you must play the part more convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate. Ha 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 ha. Now he's just being plain rude. What a weird guy. And off he goes, having just laughed in my face. His sense of humor is as twisted as his name. Naruhodo-san, what are you just standing there for? You must go and investigate the cabin next door as well. Aren't you forgetting something? What about these? Hi. Oh, she broke the chain with her powers. Oh my gosh. After Kazuma-sama spent his dying moments struggling to leave us a clue, you're willing to give up? Oh, she didn't break it. You're just going to roll over and accept your fate? Ugh. As if you gave me any choice in the rolling over part. I think we still have some investigation to finish off in here first, don't we? Let's carry on examining what we can in this cabin while we wait for a chance to slip next door. Good idea. This situation doesn't look good for me, but there are still some things I can do to help myself. And I owe it to Kazuma to do everything I can to find a way out of this, and bring a real culprit to justice. Is that? Oh, there's more dudes. Is something wrong, Naruhodo-san? Oh, no. It's just that crewman standing by the door. I can't help feeling I've seen him somewhere before. Oh, I know who it is. Oh, yes, you're right. He does look familiar. Excuse me, sir. It's him, the dude. Yes? What can I do for you? I recognize that face, but it can't be. Oh my goodness. Blood all the time. Why does he always have blood? It is! I didn't know you were here, Inspector Hosonaga. Hello again. What are you doing here? I think that should be my line. I was so stunned when I saw you. My heart stopped. Nearly stopped. I hope. Nearly stopped, I hope. I received some special orders to go undercover as a member of the crew and board this ship. Again? You certainly seem to enjoy undercover work, Inspector. If there's anything I can do to help you, please, ask. You never expected to see this man on board. But perhaps his presence can help me out of this hopeless situation. Alright, let's see what he's got to say. So what are your special orders this time, Inspector? Yes, and why are you dressed as a member of the crew? I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. I take full responsibility. For what? My orders were to act as Asogi-san's bodyguard. It was Minister of Justice Jikoku who pushed for this overseas study tour to go ahead. And he entrusted me with ensuring that Asobi-san reached Great Britain without being assassinated. Assassinated? How could that even have been a possibility? I'm not sure. But these are complicated times. There are tensions between the world's greatest powers. Minister Jikoku said we should be prepared for all eventualities. This is incredible. I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama was assassinated? Obviously, we couldn't give Asobi-san a visible security escort. Which is why I'm undercover now, posing as one of the crew. Am I voice acting? Is that what you're laughing at? I see. I didn't take my eyes off of him the entire time we've been on board, from morning until night, every day. But I never imagined it would happen here, inside this own cabin, not here, on the first-class deck. I failed miserably at my assignment, and Asobi-san is dead as a result. I'm a disgrace. All I can do is humbly apologize. Inspector. So if there's anything at all I can do to help now, just say the word. I'm going full anime. That's what I'm doing. We're doing what we can to investigate Kazuma's death ourselves. I thought you might be. You didn't do it, did you? You're not the killer? Of course not. We'd really like to investigate the cabin floor next door. Yes, so we need to be allowed out of this cabin. Reading dialogue by myself makes my brain hurt. I'm sorry. What? You've been deemed a risk to this ship's safety. If you move to even touch the handle of the cabin door, the stormy-looking seaman there would surely snap your neck in two. I suppose. I'm not just a stowaway now. They think I'm a murderer as well. Wouldn't it be possible to give me something to work with, you think? I'm gonna need something to give me something to work with, you think? Excuse me. I'm gonna need something persuasive. What do you mean? If I had a solid reason why the next cabin should be investigated, for example, I'd do everything I could to persuade the captain to allow it. Really, I'd lay my life on the line if I had to. But I don't see how. There may be a way. What? Really? Think of how you tried to persuade me of your innocence, Naruhodo-san. By presenting me with a piece of evidence that you already had in your possession. Evidence? It's just the same as you are in court. You must have done it many times during your trial. People reading out loud is okay with me. Audible was my best friend in school. Oh, nice. Yeah, I find it really, really fun to read. I don't know why. Reading out loud is fun. Choose some evidence that Inspector Hosonaga could use. So, evidence that would give us a viable reason to investigate the next door cabin, is it? Alright, yes. I think I might know what we can use. Let's see if I can present the detective with the evidence he needs to persuade the captain. Okay. So now that we're talking to someone, let's look at all of our stuff. So let's look at this first, I guess. Keep out. You drew the characters for this paper seal, didn't you, Naruhodo-san? They're such bold, vivid strokes you made. You're looking at a man who came aboard inside a trunk. Those brushstrokes needed to make a statement. If they found me in that wardrobe, those Russians would have hurled me into the freezing cold ocean. I'm sure none of the crewmen would have done anything like that. Well, I'm not so sure. They would have forced you to wash dishes in the galley until you were on death's door or something like that. Wash dishes until I was on death's door? That's a lot of dishes. Alright. Okay, nothing fancy on the back. Just a simple piece of paper. I don't think there's anything of interest here. And I think it's pretty obvious that he didn't write that. That was... someone drew that for him after he died. Okay, let's look at the newspaper. I'm afraid I can't read a word of Russian. No, me either. I have no idea what any of this says. Oh, I guess we were supposed to check it while it was here, but oh well. pair of you floundering is a sorry sight. Allow me to offer some assistance. The article on the front page of this newspaper is concerned with a fearsome Russian revolutionary. It reads, Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. Yes, you told us that before. It reveals also that those who see the man's beard with their own eyes never live to tell the tale. Oh my goodness, he is fearsome. Well, presumably the newspaper photographer was alright, wasn't he? The solution is obvious, of course. If he despises his beard to that degree, he need only shave it off. I'm not quite sure that's the problem, Mr. Sholmes. Okay, so we can't read anything else, but looks like there's nothing else on here. Interesting. Photograph on the back. Okay. This is interesting. Have you found something relevant, Naruhodo-san? Well, no, I mean, it looks like it might be interesting. I can't read a single word, I'm afraid. No, nor can I, but look at this picture. Perhaps it's about a beautiful young Russian princess, do you think? She is very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, do you? I don't know, I can't make any sense of it. Ah, I'm glad you've noticed this article. Allow me to give you a short summary of its contents. Oh, thank you. He pops up everywhere in this, Mr. Sholmes. It's about the disappearance of a young lady last night. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. During a performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer was reported missing. She is, of course, the talented young Nikolina Pavlova. Why are Russian names so hard to remember? It would appear that the woman was in costume when she was found to be missing from her dressing room, wearing the diamond tiara you see pictured, with his worth some 20,000 rubles. Oh, how much is 20,000 rubles? I have no idea, but I'm quite sure it must be an unbelievable sum of money. So that the son's eyes are shining like diamonds themselves. The tiara is the property of the Novovich Ballet. It would seem the director is beside himself with worry. Yes, I'm not surprised. The company is most anxious to recover both Miss Pavlova and the valuable tiara. They requested international assistance at all ports with sailings to Great Britain. Could this be another case of a Russian fleeing his or her country? That doesn't seem to be the Russian thing to do. I'm not even going to dignify that with a response, Naruhodo. Oh, it's updated, okay. Article about ballerina. An article on the back of the page of a Russian newspaper. The headline reads, a renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. Okay, so I guess that's it for that. Kazuma's diary. 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. 1:35. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Oh, so that's like right before he died, right? Okay, and these newspaper things are the same thing. Okay. So we need to present... okay, so I guess we present the thing about the ventilator, right? What's that? It's Kazuma's diary. Just before he died, Kazuma-sama wrote something rather strange in his diary. Strange? In what way? He wrote, what looks like some kind of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? That is strange. Yes, we're still trying to work out what he meant by that, but what I'd like to know is... Don't tell me. The ventilator, is it? You're very astute, Inspector. The ventilator clearly joins to the next door cabin. That's right. So if we could investigate in there, we might be able to work out what the speckled band was. Alright then. I can't leave this cabin at the moment. I'm stuck here until we arrive at the next port. The cabin has given me strict orders to guard the scene of the crime, you see. I'll have to entrust the investigation to you. Really? You're willing to do that? Yes. As long as you don't leave the first cabin area. I'm afraid I can't remove those handcuffs, though. But what about the captain? Aren't you going against his direct orders? I'm a man of my word. And I promise you that. I lay my life on the line if that's what it takes to convince the captain. After all, I failed to keep Asugi-san safe. This is the least I can do. Thank you. Let's seize the moment then, Naruhodo-san. And we can leave this cabin at last. Alright, let's see what we can find out. Okay. Let's go. Actually, I think this is a good place to stop. It's 3 hours, and that's exactly how much longer I wanted to play. So yeah, we'll continue our investigation here, and look at the next door room and see what else we can find tomorrow. But yeah, so that will be the end of the stream for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Thank you all for stopping by, as always. I appreciate it. And yeah, see ya. Goodbye.